It's my first gold thing ever. It's freaking awesome.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
Holy shit, it is. No way! No way! Dude!
We just pulled out a SOQ 1927.
Looks pretty sweet.
Is it the
Oh my god! Be old, be old.
1856.
Wow! Holy crap!
Shit.
Dude!
That's a good way to break into the 1800s.
1899. He did it!
Dude, I bailed out of my tree to dig this.
Oh, that's a flying eagle, I think.
1858.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
We're live.
Hey, everybody.
What is happening?
We're live. We're waiting for Chandler to come on board. We're here with the folks from the Hoover boys.
The important ones.
A few of them. We've got Brad and Bill, and we've got a friend here, Chandler's friend, Chris. Nice to see you, Chris.
Hey, thanks, man. Good to be here.
So Chandler had to eat a few things, and he should be on pretty soon. But I think get the ball rolling. You guys are you're probably full into the swing now of this season, getting out and doing some hunting. Yes, no, maybe so.
Trying to. Well,
very hard.
between moving and 2-year-olds and almost 6 months old and everything going on with that, it's just like I'd love to get out.
Yeah.
I've been out a couple times this year. I think I've been out more times than Bill, and that's what counts, right?
Yeah. I mean, my new hours are what's screwing me because I work weekends, so everybody else digs, and my shift's a weekend shift.
Yeah.
You get like 2 Hoovers together at one time, and that's
Yeah.
a party pretty much. That's about all you get.
Definitely not like it used to be.
No, life will slow down, and we'll settle down here with this move and everything, and we'll hit it again real hard. But dig days are sacred days for sure when you actually get out there.
Yes,
Do you
they
guys
are.
typically split up like the permission finding? I mean, is that something that somebody kind of spearheads of the group, or just kind of first come, first serve? I mean, because you got the videos tied in, so.
That's what I've always wondered is how you guys do that with your permissions. Seems like you guys get some incredible permissions and quite a few of them, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of hard work, but it's also a lot of great friends. I mean, the channel is Kurt's baby, right? So he does most of the heavy lifting. So he's hitting a lot of doors, talking to a lot of farmers regularly. But I mean, it also comes down to friends too. So we get invites from phenomenal people, and
Nice.
and it's a really lucky position to be in. I joke that I'm a permanent third wheeler. It's like I'm always a plus oneer. I don't have to do the work. It's like can Brad come too? It's like, oh, sweet, great, yeah, it's perfect. I show up and dig. It's lucky. It's really lucky. But
Yeah.
we put in work. We definitely do put in work, and when we go dig, we dig all day and we dig hard. So it's not
Yep.
like the finds come easy. So yeah.
So some of those bigger fields, you start sun up, and you're usually, I see you guys there sun down. Is that pretty much the norm?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are the best hunts, definitely, when you have all day and the phone's not ringing and you have all day to dig. That's great. Those are the best days.
When Bill's taking a nap, you know it's a long day, right, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, the naps haven't happened a lot recently, but it's going back to even the permission thing. Most of our days when I go digging with Kurt, the whole morning's nothing but let's try to find new permissions, and then the afternoon just goes to, let's dig. If we don't find nothing, we fall back on old places.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a lot of that.
So are you guys using maps and historical kind of stuff, or are you guys just driving around saying, hey, that's a cool looking old house, let's knock
Drive
on that
around.
door?
Burning gas.
It's history rich.
Yeah,
Seriously, it's
burning
history
gas.
rich. So it's hard to find something that isn't old. It's just a matter of was something dropped there or not. You know what I mean? So we'll pull up on a big place, and if we're lucky enough to get a yes, we'll spread out and we cover a lot of ground real quick. find the iron, find the hot spots, and then dig like crazy and start chopping coins in half. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And
We weren't going to
All
bring
right.
it up.
I
you
get it out of the
brought
way
it
now.
up.
Yeah, get it right out of the way. So how does it feel to smash a flowing hair in half? It feels great. It feels great. Have you ever found a gold coin? Yes, I found 4 by accident.
4 pieces.
Pieces of 4. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
This isn't my interview. You ask the questions.
no, it's all good.
So when it's history rich, but
Yeah.
like I know a couple of episodes I've seen you talk about places being, especially the water episodes, like trading areas or ports or whatever you call them.
There he is.
You've got to find those on maps. Like, what are the oldest maps going back to there?
That's Muck's department.
Hey, finally.
Muck's got some maps, and
Okay.
we're following some channels that are pretty old, and it's just a matter of following the shoreline and connecting the old roads, and a lot of trial and error. We'll beat up a few beaches and nothing's really going on, and then all of a sudden you get out of the boat and it's just nothing but pop, and that's your iron infested, history rich. We got to see what's going on here. You start pulling up brick in the scoop, and that's how arrowheads. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting. So are those? It seems like they've got a lot of salt water coming into them. It's not completely fresh because of the way the silver corrodes, or no?
Yeah. What do you call it? Brackish water, right?
Brackish.
Yeah. It's some of the beaches are kind of tough. Yeah. It makes the single frequency machines freak out a little bit for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I wondered that. So what is everybody is swinging? It's pretty all over the map, isn't it? Like there's some AT Pros. I think there's a couple Knoxes I've seen.
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a Mine Lab and Garrett mix. I'll go back and forth between the Max and the Equinox. And I'll even break out the F75 still. If I'm doing a ring return or something, I love the F75 just for speed. You turn it on and it's a quick machine and it's light and just whip it around. So that's still a good stick. But yeah, it's a pretty even split.
Is there any one that's more sensitive to the brackish part of it? I mean, are they all pretty much equally sensitive?
So that's where the Mine Lab does have the upper hand, being a multi-frequency machine. So it quiets it down, and it's definitely an advantage over other manufacturers to have multi-frequency. So
yeah,
saltwater too. You can't swing a single frequency machine in wet sand at the beach, saltwater beach. Doesn't work. You get this much depth.
Tried that.
Yeah. That's one thing. Chris and I are from Michigan, so we're always dealing with fresh water.
Right.
Beaches here. We don't think about that when we're putting on a machine, really.
No. One time I did hit a saltwater beach. I was in the Dominican Republic. That's when I had my AT Pro. That was I found a ton of stuff, but it was so noisy. It was difficult. But
yeah, you get fatigued.
I would have loved to have the Equinox then. Yep.
I feel like I struggle more when I'm on the water beach than I am when I'm fully immersed in the water, though.
What'd you say?
I said I feel like I have more of an issue out of my machine just scanning the top of a saltwater beach than I do when I have my Max in the fully submersed.
Oh, gotcha.
Keeping it off the ground, it actually works a little bit better.
Gotcha.
That's interesting. Huh. So you guys kind of have like a game plan for the season, a few permissions already lined up, I'm sure. Like, is there anyone that you're excited for yet, or no?
There's repeat places that we got to go back to. I mean, there's definitely some spots I've had my mind on. I mean, Flowing Hair for one is a place that we need to beat up again. But I always pass the buck. That one's Bob's department. He got that one. This person got that one. That's just for special occasions. So that's a spot. We're gonna hit that one again. I'd like to get back to New Jersey too. New Jersey's always been good to me.
I like Jersey.
Yeah,
Yep.
Good soil, good
I would
friends.
love to get out east sometime. I have a couple of connections out there that I might be able to get out that way, but boy, that would be awesome. There's so much history out there.
Yeah,
So cool.
great coins come out of Jersey. We've had some awesome episodes and some fantastic coins. Yeah.
Is the
Yeah.
flowing hair one? Is that the one that you said is the vegetable farm now?
You know, I can't disclose any of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There might have been some veggies somewhere nearby, but
So it's a cannabis plantation. Okay. I
yeah,
got it.
it's
Right.
way out in western Pennsylvania.
You know you're there when you smell it. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not uncommon in Michigan these days. So
But no,
every
it's
5
everywhere.
feet.
It's everywhere you go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if we've lost Chandler permanently. Hopefully he checks in here in a second. But I guess I don't know. I've watched you guys for quite a while now, but I don't really know like the backstory of how you all got together and met. I don't know if you worked together at one time or what's just random connections.
Go ahead, Leo. This one's for you, Leo.
Well, okay. Well, we all met at a detecting meeting, but Bill and I knew each other from school. Oh, how many years ago, Bill?
I don't know. I
Oh,
graduated
wow. It's
04.
Yeah,
God,
I was 02, but we live right around the corner from each other, so we knew each other for a good bit beforehand. But we met. Brad and all of us met at the Maryland Free State Treasure Club detecting meeting.
Yeah.
So
That
and
was
then
2014. That was early 2014.
20.
It was early 2014.
No, was it? I thought it
Channel
was
started-
earlier than that.
Was
Channel
it?
started in January 2015, and
So it was 14.
So it was 2014. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 14. Because I remember I took Kurt to find his first Barber Diamond. Still got that photo.
He was such a noob.
those first videos are awesome. They're so fun to watch.
I didn't know what he was doing. I had no idea he was starting a channel that first. It's like that picture of us all lined up at the Indian Head Burial Ground. It's like, come on, Brad, come get in the picture. We're doing a thing. I had no idea what he was doing. Okay, fine. All right.
I should have learned back then when he was making fun of me all the time. I should have known back then.
That's awesome.
Oh, gosh.
It was good times.
Oh, yeah.
So we have
That was when we had less responsibility.
Yeah, no kidding.
A whole lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a question in the chat here from Tim Harkema. When you guys are doing a big field, do you try to break up the field to cover it all, or do you all just wander around?
Oh, man.
We look like old people just walking in the field.
Just ball walking.
Silver alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty spastic. It's funny. I get pulled to the edges of a huge field. If there's a huge farm field, huge property, and you just get that yes, it's funny. I want to like do this whole box thing around the whole field first, and then cut right through the middle.
Okay.
I just follow Brad.
You just follow his line and see what he missed, right?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. All I'm doing is I'm looking for the place that has the most comfiest ground, flat, perfect for my back, doesn't hurt, and I just have to stumble over stuff.
Has a place to hang a hammock.
Yeah,
that's right.
You can lay his nap rug down.
No, Bill was literally in a hammock at my house like 2 weeks ago. It was great.
Brought a hammock.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And Bob helped him out of it.
That might be on video. That's probably coming. Oh man,
that'll be fun.
Oh, Nina says Brad bottom feeds, and she's absolutely correct.
Oh man. Yeah, don't ever get something that Brad missed. Then it's game on, and then he doesn't miss anything.
I think we're all
just like out at Walmart.
Well, I always try to. I bring my detector to see what was found. So it's a huddle, and I got my detector in the air. Like, oh, sweet, yeah, that's great. I put it down, and then I walk directly back to where I was, just kind of sweeping my way back. And I always hit a target that's like, 5 feet from the barber dime or whatever was found. It's like, hey, Bill, do you mind if I dig this, man? That's a really good target. I'm sorry. It's like, bottom feet. I didn't try to bring my metal detector; it just happened.
Right.
Brad, there's a question in the comments for you. What was the reason you initially went with the F-75?
Man, that's a great one. I had a Fisher CZ CZ5 Quicksilver, or is it a CZ6? CZ series Quicksilver machine. It had a needle on it.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really quick machine. It's really deep. I think people still swear by it, actually.
Yeah,
It's like the 1266 and that series. It's a good machine. It treated me really well for a long time.
The one the guy had on the detectorists?
Possibly.
Phil? Maybe Phil?
But I liked it. The point I make is I liked it, and the F-75 came out, and it was a chattery son of a gun, too, when it came out, before they quieted it down.
Yeah.
It was really light. It was good balance. And turn on and go. And I have to have a turn on and go metal detector. I am not a tweaker guy. Like, I don't want to turn it on and pick my setting for this place and then change it to that setting because I walked over here. No, I want to turn on the metal detector and walk until I find something.
Yeah.
So that's what the F-75 let me do. And I used it for a good long time until the Garrett thing came along. And I guess that's really when the Max came onto the market is when I swapped over to the Max because of horrible peer pressure from Bob. He was going to unfriend me on Facebook.
Oh no! No!
He was really mean, but we made it through. So it's a great machine. And then I ended up favoring the Max over the F-75, and people didn't believe me. But it's like, you don't like the Max more than the F-75. You get paid to say that. I haven't seen a dime from Garrett.
that was another question. That was, I mean, you see that all the time in you guys' comments on your channel. But you guys say no, you're not. Hi, Chandler.
Hey, we got Kurt in here too.
Hey, what's happening?
There he is.
There he
is. I got one more addition here, fellas. This is my buddy Ryan from Fuzzier Metal Detecting out here in Nebraska with me.
Good to meet you, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
We're starting to look like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
I should have charged you guys $5 an hour. Shit.
No, we get paid for this, don't we?
Somebody better be getting paid.
Well, so now everybody's here. I got
Chandler's taking this phone. Oh shit!
I got some people asking who officially started the group then. Kurt, because I think everybody thinks Kurt did.
Yeah.
But Bill or Bob or somebody was detecting first. I mean, was it just kind of a group thing, or I mean, how did that? You guys kind of covered a little bit, but like, who said let's do this?
We were friends for a while, and one year I got a cell phone that was decent enough that I knew could take video, and I had a good signal one day, and decided to do a live dig, and that's the first dig on episode 1 of the Hoover Boys. Just sort of started. And,
classic.
Yeah.
Best intro to date. You got to put that back.
Yes. Yes. Don't. Yes. No.
Sorry I'm late, you guys. Happy to be in here finally. You guys did a great job. You kept all the crap talk about me to a minimum, which I appreciate while I wasn't in here. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a beautiful evening. Are you guys fired up to kind of start the detecting season off, getting, more permissions, more time to get out, more everything, better weather? I mean, it's starting to finally be spring here in Nebraska. I pulled out my oldest seeded dime here last weekend, and now it's been snowing the last week. So next weekend it's supposed to be in the 70s, I think. So I'm fired up for it.
Congratulations. I just got my first silver of the year, 43 Washington Porter. Really happy about that.
That's a boy.
That's a great
I got my first silver out of a coin star.
Nice. That's a good way to get it.
Yep.
So, Chandler, tell them how deep that seeded dime was.
Maybe that far. Ryan was with me. We went door knocking, and then I'm using the days too, so I'm still getting used to it. It was the first yard I've done with the days too so far, and I got a little, kind of penny dime signal, and I was like, oh, I'll just dig it, and I was like, oh, that's silver. And then when I was looking at it through the dirt, I was like, that looks seeded. Sure enough, it was seeded. Second silver of the year. First one was a barber quarter, so I got good silver age so far this year for Nebraska.
To get to the right spots, though, I have seen 1850s silver come up numerous times. I did pull a 57 out by Seward. It's at an old racetrack.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me about that. We're excited to get back. Ryan and I got big plans to go back. We got like 5 or 6 more yards that we got to do. We got a whole bunch of fields we unlocked already. We're fired up. We should have a good detecting time coming up.
Nice.
So if anyone wants plane tickets, they're too expensive to fly to Lincoln. Flying to Omaha instead.
You guys been able to get out yet this year?
I went last weekend. It thawed Saturday, and then Sunday I got back to like 30 degrees and windy, but it was still thawed out. It was still good ground. Got my first flying eagle of the year. Spent most of the day thinking it was a first-year fatty Indian until I wiped it off, so that was fun. So, it's a bonus.
That's always a good way to start the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So has anybody pulled a copper yet this season?
Oh yeah. I was hoping to find a largie in that field, the right time period at least. So.
Yeah, Brian always flexes his largies on me at the most random time. He's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I went detecting today, and I found this classic head," and I'm like, "Okay, well, that's just savage, man."
I had a little bit of a scare in the first field I hunted this year. Or no, it would have been the second, not the one that we were at, but I got this.
Oh no, he cut out.
I'm finding a couple of 1860s Indians, so you never know.
There might be
cut him out.
No, I'm not that savage on my public stream. Absolutely not. I don't know, how much have you guys been out so far in the Northeast this year?
A couple times.
Yeah, a few. We try to hunt all year round as long as the ground ain't froze up.
Yeah, I try to get at least once a weekend.
Are we hunting this weekend?
I hope so. I think Saturday's not going to be great weather-wise. Maybe Sunday.
If my wife is watching, can you ask her if I can go? she might be watching. So just.
I think there's supposed to be a snowstorm this weekend.
Oh, ain't gonna happen. There ain't no way.
It's never stopped us before.
Said the guy who doesn't want to dig.
Snow dummies.
Snow dummies. That was awful. That was dreadful.
Oh, I know.
He was swinging in like 15 inches of snow. Finding buttons.
Well, it's nice to
sound like the postman. Don't rain and sleet or snow.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you guys have pretty good luck door knocking on Sundays? I know I've had it, sometimes where I go door knocking on Sundays, everyone's like, "It's Sunday, why would you go out?" And I'm like, "That's a great question. I'll see you later." And I've had some Sundays where it's like just yes.
That's a Midwest question, I think.
The bigger the cross, the bigger the yes. The bigger the cross necklace, you get a big yes. Come on, yes.
Every day's a different with door knocking. Like I used to do a lot during the week, and it was hard just finding anybody home. Mm-hmm. But every day is different. Some days it's all yeses, some days it's all no's, and some days it's just a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Kirk,
COVID.
Would you share your I guess your spiel, your what you say when they open that door? Or is it or do you gotta read that person and then you kind of ad lib?
I'm going to revert to an episode 2 weeks from now where we do that in an episode. So I'm going to save that.
No preview.
I can't believe I missed that one too. I was going to be a part of that knock, but I missed it.
Look forward to that.
It's short and sweet to the point. All you got to do is say who you are, what you do as a hobby, and just ask. Some people say yes, some people say no.
Yeah. What do you guys do when they say sure, but I want to keep everything you find? We've had that.
Yeah, we've had that, and we've gone with it, and it's weird having somebody lurking over your shoulder when you're digging holes. And,
right. Yeah.
If it's a property that you really want to dig, I mean, we've done it before.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing you had to give back?
That was a question I saw in the chat earlier too. Yeah. They wanted everybody to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Half real, I guess.
Oh.
Nothing for me. I'm gonna sound like that guy. It's just like I've given away a few things. I'd like to give
Brad,
away
I thought.
What's up, Leo?
The one thing at the one church. You remember the one thing that it's like an 1839 something, and she wanted it.
That was the early one. You got that permission?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a foreign coin, and that was probably still.
I don't know. I can't remember where that one. permission.
I gotta go, guys.
Yeah.
Nice meeting y'all.
Hey, Bill, thanks for
Bill.
coming out, man.
Hey, Bill, go get him.
Bye,
Chich
William.
coming out. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, Billy.
I think I'm cutting out.
Right.
Lights and sirens, buddy.
Okay,
I
see
did
you,
buy
Bill.
I bought a seated quarter back one time when they were going to take the seated quarter. That was at
That was a standing Liberty.
It was a standing, yeah, not a seated. Yep.
See you,
standing.
Willie.
That was a good deep beep, and it was a decent date. And I was like, I didn't want to give it up, and I said, how about I make a donation to the museum? And I gave them like pretty much fair market value for the coin, which was $60 or $80. And in hindsight, I'd rather just give it. It's not a big deal now. But at the time, it was like, don't take my standing quarter. Those are hard to find.
No, it's definitely changed over the years where like I have more enjoyment just finding the stuff. Like at the end of the day, it's going to end up in a pile with the other stuff that I found. I mean, unless it's something really rare, valuable, or something of like a first thing that I've never found before. It's more or less just fun finding the stuff. I don't mind leaving it behind.
Yeah, that's.
But surprisingly, we don't get that many people that want our stuff. A lot of them just want to see what we found. But I mean, I don't know if it's the area or whatnot, but a lot of people just want to see it.
Yeah.
I run into the lot too.
One of the things that I always tell people is, I'm happy to show you every single thing I find. And if you want it, it's yours. Just let me know,
Yeah.
I know one of the other guys that we did with, his name is Nick. He's in the chat, but he's not on the stream. I think he found a size 5 or 6 completely intact crotal bell. So it was, the size of a tennis ball or a baseball. We've never found one that big before. And, the people who lived in that house, they were, I think, the 4th or 5th generation that had lived there. And so that was something that, while it was awesome to pull something, this big out of the ground, we're like, you guys got to give us back. See, he just commented it. I knew he was going to comment on it. Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing we say when we're, doing the initial knock, that if anything we find is linked to the house historically, part of the family, like we're more than happy to leave that behind for you to display in the house.
I always like to leave as many relics with the landowner as I can.
If it's
I
got
think the
something
relics
to
are
do with
awesome.
the property, I'd like to leave it with the landowner. Yep.
I know I've left horseshoes and axe heads, and they're like, "You really don't want this?" And I'm like, "Oh, just please! It's it's the history of the house. It's all yours. Here's a couple other buttons I found in the yard. Here's a coin or two." I know. I think the hardest thing it wasn't hard, but it was just kind of like one of those. He said that his grandma had grown up in the house, and I found a spill. It was like a barber dime and 4 Indians, I think. And he was like, those might have been my grandma's. And I was like, here you go, man. I would want you to have those. And he's like, oh, she just passed away. That means so much. And I'm like, man, I'm just happy to give it to you. That's what it's about, really.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
Exactly.
I think the most satisfying though is a ring reuniting.
Yep. Agree. Absolutely agree. That's the best feeling I've ever had in the hobby, especially when I don't expect to find it and it was lost years ago or something. And it's like, I can't believe I've actually located it. A lot of times I'll call somebody over and be like, it's not your ring. Don't get excited. I just want to show this to you. It's cool. And I'll give them the probe or something and I'll have them find the ring. And they're just like,
oh,
and like, it's great. It's cool. Absolutely great. It's irreplaceable feeling.
Yep.
That's something I'd like to experience a little bit more. I haven't had very many ring recovery requests. The house that Ryan and I did this last weekend where we had an awesome day. Videos are going to be out on Saturday, by the way, a shameless plug. The owner's husband had passed away within the last 5 years, and she said sometime in the last 10 years he had lost his wedding ring out in the yard close to the house. And when she was talking to us about it, she's like, oh, I would love it if you guys could find that for me. That would mean so much, bringing a tear to her eye and everything. And like, that's what we want to do. We want to go back and find that ring.
Yep.
I mean, that's better than any coin we're going to find anywhere. That's better than anything. But to reunite someone with such a precious thing like that, that's what it's about.
That's a good.
Bob says he tries to leave Bill every single time he goes somewhere too. But
what a jerk. Bob, you're a jerk. I love you.
What's he saying now?
He said he tries to leave Bill every time.
So do y'all still call him Lucky Charms? Because I know he should have been on that cover of the Lucky Charms box, for a number of things he found. I feel like every time I would hang out with Bob, I would just want to call him Lucky Charms.
That was a good time. That was a good
That
time.
was a good time.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. That was a good year. It was hard to miss that year for whatever reason. Like 2016, 2017, like every time we went out, like we just stumbled upon a virgin site and just smashed it. And obviously, the longer you do this, the harder it is to find the good sites. And that was just a special year. We were on fire.
Were you hunting down there? Do you have a lot of competition?
Oh yeah, there's people everywhere.
Yeah. I wouldn't say we do as much in Michigan. We've got a strong amount of people, but I think it's kind of split up pretty decent. I mean, you wander in a field every once in a while, it's been hit maybe a month ago or something, but it's not horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, even when people do hit it, though, I mean, they're not necessarily the most, advanced detectorists. And, I mean, everybody misses stuff. It's all about getting your coil over the right target. I don't know if Jake from the Wanderers is in here. We went to a field that we had already hit twice, and another guy before me had been there with two other guys and hit it too. And he walked 10 feet into the field and pulled out a 1808 Drake Bust half cent. So, stuff just shows up out of nowhere.
Miss it by an inch, miss it by an inch.
Exactly. Comment here, I'll show it from Macon Ridge Metal Detecting. You Hoover should talk about the water hunt last year where you found the 8 real. That was amazing.
That was ridiculous.
At a left field too.
Yeah. Do I have it with me? I don't know if I have it here. I still haven't even. I need to zap it. I need to clean up the obverse. Yeah, not expecting that at all.
No, we
I thought it was a peace dollar. I was sure it was a peace dollar.
We were searching the river that day for a new spot, and we were striking out. And I made a video where we found absolutely nothing, which was the first half of that day. And I posted it like for, whatever. I'm going to post this video of us absolutely finding nothing. And then we stumbled upon this site at the very last place we stopped. And I found a large, a copper or something. I was like, okay, there's stuff here. Let's put some time in here. And we didn't find anything old. We ended up finding some, between Brad and I, we found 3 gold rings. And then left field comes this 8 reals, and then Muck pulls a 2 reals 10 minutes later in the same area.
That was a spill. They were together. Those two.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we've smashed it since, but we hadn't found a thing desirable there. Not a thing.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have a lot of. Tim, thanks for stopping out, man. Have a good rest of your night. I'm sure you guys have a lot of like steamboat stops and different, old crossings out that way and everything. I haven't done much water metal detecting personally, but I found a few docks this year on the river. I never really looked at the old maps on the river. I was always kind of more focused on around where we all lived and everything. But I'm excited to see what's at those dock sites because normally they're pretty close, at least in Michigan, to where a sawmill was, or a sawmill in a little, cluster of other buildings.
It's a different animal, and it takes some time to get used to. But I mean, at least on the East Coast or whatever, the rivers were the highways back in the days before there was roads. I mean, that's how they transported goods back in the day. It was through the river systems, and you got to have some kahunas to get in certain areas. They're shady, but having snakes and things swim between your legs while you're trying to concentrate on a high tone in your neck deep, and there's stuff around you and the water's just moving. It's
and that's why Bob doesn't come out, because of them sharks.
Because of the sharks.
I have seen a dorsal fin. I swear I've seen a dorsal fin out there.
I was gonna say, have you guys ever? I mean, you guys fish a lot when you're doing the river hunts too. Have you ever hooked into a shark, while you're doing that sort of stuff, or normally not so much?
No.
I mean, in Pennsylvania, that'd be a little iffy, to say the least.
It's definitely possible, but they say the chances of something like that happening. It only takes one time.
Yeah, we're not going to try to shark fish while we're
They're not going to be
In
chum
there.
in the water.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
Would be a little counterproductive. I feel like.
Yeah.
Right.
I know a lot of people that like your floating sieve that you guys use.
Oh, that thing's awesome.
Yeah. You gotta
Love it.
start marketing those. The Hoover Boy sieve, or the
You should.
whatever.
Come on. Put those on the eBay.
There you go. Put them on Etsy or whatever. Yeah.
They're easy enough for anybody to make.
But I want, yeah.
The thing is, they're non-metal, so I mean,
Yeah.
right? They're all plastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I started just with pool noodles and a laundry bag I got from Walmart, zip tied it together, and that worked fine for years. And then my latest one, I reinforced the pool noodle with some PVC pipe, and that I just added extra flotation and more rigidity. It's great.
Yeah.
Question from the comments here from William. He wants to know what the sketchiest place y'all have ever hunted is. Ryan, I know what you're gonna say coming up. I know what you're gonna say, Len.
We were somewhere in Civil War country on Black Friday, and we were hunting with aqua chigger, and it happened to multiple people throughout the day. I mean, this is a pretty well-known battle site. You know, people lost their lives there, and we were having our machines just turn off on us, just completely turn off on us. And it's never happened anywhere else before, and it happened to multiple people throughout the day. Or it was in the woods, so like it's pretty quiet swinging as it is. But then all of a sudden you'd look down and your machine would be off. Like, how long has my machine been off? And it would happen. It happened a bunch of times. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it freaked me out.
Yeah. That was the crazy one. Because we thought it all happened to just each of us, like separate, like we didn't know, and then we all said something, and it was like, really, and it was like in that one spot. It was crazy. It was creepy.
Somebody didn't want us there.
So anybody that walked across that spot, they had that same issue.
It's odd.
Yep, and
I was thinking,
still took the 3-ringer home.
That was that really hilly place, right? The rocky
Yeah.
terrain.
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember that. Yeah.
Were you same answer, Brad? Same answer for
When I think like sketchiest place detecting, I don't think about the ghosties. I think.
And I
about,
think the
like,
next day they
Anyway, I was thinking about like, do you have permission to be there? Yeah, that for me, like that's a sketchy situation.
Inner
It's like,
city.
should you be there? So, like, I know I've got a warning on my record somewhere. I think.
My daughter.
I've been written up because I was on a place with a person, and I don't remember even who it was, but we went out there, and the Rangers came out and said, "Yeah, you're not allowed to be here. This land is." It wasn't like a Civil War site or anything, but it was you're not allowed to be here. And I had no idea. It's just like you sometimes you put a little too much trust into people, and you do need to pick your friends carefully sometimes because you'll end up somewhere where you shouldn't be. And that was a situation where it was a sketch ball situation, and it was an accident, and you didn't get into real trouble. It's not like it was a Civil War battlefield or something like that. We're smarter than that. But we didn't know where we were, and you live and learn. That's a sketchy situation. It's an accident. You got to learn from those. But that does not happen often. That's happened to me once exactly. But I'm sure when I was younger, I've metal detected places where I didn't actually get a yes. But it's like I'm just going to slip into the woods and detect here because it's no man's land. I think we've all done that, but it's borderline sketch.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I haven't really detected any sketchy place out here that I don't know. Maybe it's just me being not really giving a crap about anything, but I've never felt sketched out by anywhere that we were.
I think the sketchiest I've ever had was I used to do this thing a lot where if I saw a house for sale by owner, I would call up the guy selling the house, and I got a yes for one that I found out later on through the day it was one of the most dangerous streets in Omaha. Turned out to be a crypt territory, so.
Did you detect it?
Sketchy.
Oh, yeah, I detected it. I didn't find that out until after the fact. Nobody bothered me, so it's no big deal.
And we've got some acquaintances, Chandler, that from our East Side affiliation that detect in Detroit, and there are some incredible old homes with probably some great stuff in the ground, but downtown Detroit, I don't know. I'm not going.
Yeah,
Some things just aren't worth it. I've thought
no.
about it. And we've tickled or fooled with some places and just like let's go out in the country and knock a farm.
Yep, farm fields the best.
Agree.
I will say there was one time where I was home from Nebraska, I was in Michigan, and we went downtown Grand Rapids and did a street tear out, and that was sketchy. Or the only other time was in Holland, Chris. No, it wasn't you that was with us. I think it was myself, Brittany, and Mike, and the cops got called on us because
I was not there for that one.
No, because I guess like a week and a half before there was a gang shooting just down the street, and so the guy was like freaking out, thinking that we were coming back to do round 2, and we're like, we just got detectors, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, stick to the farm fields.
I can't read it. What does it say, Brad?
It's all blurry.
Darn it. I'll try one more time. It says, uncover your mouth when you are talking, please. I'm sorry, Miss Joan. I'm sorry.
I haven't. I sit like this all the time too, and I gotta put my hands down.
I
do the same thing.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I went out at night one time, and I shouldn't have been out there. And,
we should all wear a face mask, didn't we?
We just need Billy masks, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
I had an old house that I wanted to detect forever. It was brick, and 1860 around there, and the old lady that still owned it lived next door in a new house. And every time I stopped, she wasn't home. So I stopped in there one day and knocked, not home. I was just turning around, and some guy comes up over the hill from the wooded area with a gun pointing right at me. He wasn't pointing it at me to, scare me. He just didn't realize he had it pointed forward. And he's like, well, let me ask her. She's just inside. And there was no car there or anything. And he went in and at least pretended to ask somebody. But I remember leaving there, and it was a no, right? I remember leaving there thinking, is she in there, but she's not alive? What's this guy doing? It was just weird. It was kind of sketchy.
Oh, Mark and I knocked a place last year. Really long driveway. Like it had to been like at least a mile. Like this farm was massive, and it led us straight back to this really old house that was not kept up with, and there was like pretty much a trailer next to it. I'm like, okay, this is where like the farm manager lives or something like that. And we knock on the door, and this little rickety old lady comes to the door, and she's like looks all startled, and it's like, I thought you were my brother. You're lucky I didn't come to the door with a gun, and we're like, well, you should protect yourself. This is your house. I understand that. I gave her the spiel, blah, blah, blah. Everything was civil, whatever. She says no, okay, sorry, sorry for bothering you. Have a nice day. And Mark and I are driving out the driveway, very respectful, nice and slow. I don't, speed on people's driveway, pick up darts and rocks and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy comes flying up behind us, like from like back in the farm, goes up on the grass around us, flies all the way up to the entrance, and like is videotaping us leaving and stuff. And I'm just like, what in the world is wrong with these people? And he's videotaping us as we're driving out of the driveway. We're like, they have my window. I'm like, sorry for bothering you. Have a great day. All this other stuff, or have a blessed day, or whatever. And it's like, wow.
Find us on YouTube.
Yeah.
You just videotape them back. You just be like, yeah, I'm filming you too. You like it? You like how that feels? Yeah.
Not worth my time.
I'm glad I wasn't there. I would have cried.
It was awkward though.
I bet. State your business.
Yeah. Who is that?
I wasn't there for that either. You were hanging out with Isaac Passetti.
State your business.
State your business.
Oh,
he
that was
said that to Isaac. Yeah.
That was the pink house. Yeah, I remember that one. That was awkward.
Yeah.
It's one of those phrases, like it's not too surprising to hear, I guess, somebody say when you knock on the door, but you'll never be ready for it. Like, you don't want to just, state your business. I forgot why I'm here, actually. I must have the wrong house. I'll see you later.
You want to do what?
Yeah, we had that in North Carolina, Chandler, when we knocked.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There was somebody we knocked on
gosh.
the door, and I didn't knock it. Who knocked it? Was it
Mike and I?
Mike,
Mike
okay,
and I
you tell
walked
it.
up
You
the
tell the
door.
story.
We walked up to the door of this old house. No paint on the siding. Old looking place. Cool looking house, but we walk up these rickety steps and we're like, oh my God. So we kind of hit the door and somebody yells from the inside, "What do you want?" I'm like, oh crap. It's just like, never mind. We're just like, hey, we're wondering if we could no. Yeah, but we kind of took off there kind of quick though. We didn't want a guy opening the door with a shotgun or something like that. So,
and like I get it.
You never know, man. You just never know what people are what they're thinking, and yep.
No, I totally get it.
Like,
I don't want people knocking on my door when I'm home. Knock on the door, the dog barks, the baby wakes up, you're already in a bad mood. Like, why is somebody in my door anyway? You want to do what? I'm surprised we get permissions at all, honestly.
I know it. I actually, so my house where is pretty old. Is built in 1914. I had a guy. I was on my front porch. He didn't knock on the door, but he came up to me. It's like, hey, I metal detect and this and that. I see you got an old tree in your yard, and a lot of times there's coins in there. Do you mind if I metal detect? I'm like, have at it. I said I've hit that thing about 1,000 times, but that's a little different. But yeah, I just nowadays, people coming up to your door, you get suspect right away.
Oh yeah.
It was really weird too, like when COVID first came out, because a lot of people had time off work, right? So everybody was home, but then you don't want to just go up to doors and be like, "Hi, how are right?" Breathing germs right on and into them. And I don't know. For a while I always door knocked with a mask on, and I was like, what a flex. He just
what is that, Brad?
Oh, Brad.
Fine.
I'll play that game too.
Two can play that game.
I just heard coronavirus.
Is that 3 or 4 pieces? Oh, it's 4.
What is it?
You can glue that back.
I need to break it into one more piece. Give it to my boy.
That's a broken gold.
Oh boy.
There you go. You can have that one.
Oh boy.
I can't see what it is.
It's 1836 British gold sovereign.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Here's my gold coin.
Here's my gold coin too.
That's a bullhead, right? Did they call that a bullhead?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I got my gold coin.
Same here.
My mom said stop that. It makes my mom sad to see the gold coin, I think. The gold coins.
Bob says he likes door knocking. Really? Bob a good door knocker, guys?
He used to. He definitely used to. He was one of the best.
Yeah.
He still would be the best.
Talker.
Yeah, he should be on here.
I'd open my door. I'd open my door for Bob.
He's a very likable guy.
Yes, that beard is awesome. The goatee is awesome.
Scary. It's
intimidating.
Here's a good comment. This is what you don't want to have happen to you. I asked the guy that I interrupted peeing on the corner of his house drunk. That was a no. Walked around the corner and it was so awkward. I can imagine that would probably lead to a no from most people.
That's funny.
That's one of those things you just never let down. I don't know if I would tell anyone that story, because I don't want people to be like, hey, you're the guy who door knocked some dude peeing, right? And I'd be like, oh, I don't want to be known for that.
Right. That's why I always start with sorry for bothering you.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah,
Bob said he'd shoot someone at his door. That's good.
Yeah, I figure
in the face 4 times.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, Brad, do you wanna give I know everyone in here wants to hear the story of the gold coin. Do you want to tell it, or do you want to not tell it?
If I don't,
you want to see Brad cry?
Yeah, right. I don't even know if I remember it because I've watched most of the episode, most of it. I don't think I've watched it all the way through.
You haven't really? Seriously?
Yeah,
I mean, I understand it'd be tough.
The just I don't know. It's just
I get it.
Yeah, I did it. I lived it. You know, it's all right. I remember the signal fairly well. You know, it was the end of the night. Fatigue, for sure. Dug a lot of good targets. A lot of good things were coming out of the ground. So it was also a bit of a scramble. Like, you know, tide coming up, and we got to get all this out of here now. And sure, probably going too quickly, but I didn't get a good pinpoint on it. I don't know if it was even pinpointable because of, you know, the machine I was using and how it was sitting in the ground. But I dug the hole, and then I remember, you know, putting my probe into the hole, and I didn't get anything on my probe. I didn't get anything on my probe at all. And then I tried to widen the hole with my lesh. And that's when I hit it, when I tried to widen the hole. So you'd think that if it didn't beep on the probe, I shouldn't have been able to hit it with, you know, my lesh, because it should have been too far away. So I did check the hole before going in and starting to jab, but I still managed to jab it. And in one strike, I broke it into 4 pieces. So I hit it right in the middle and got an even break. It's crazy that it broke the way that it did.
That's
but
wild.
It does get brittle, and people say I didn't break it. There's no way. And Bob's probably screaming on the chat that I didn't break it. There's no way, but that's because he's a sweetheart. I absolutely broke it, Bob.
Because it wasn't your fault. It was French.
Yeah,
it was French. Yeah,
French. That's what he says. Yeah.
You know, it's weird because I remember when I found mine, I had the same thing. It was a deeper signal in the field, and I don't know if I missed it right away or what, but I mean, this coin here is in a quarter flip. So I mean, it's not a small gold coin by any means. And I remember I was even having a tough time pinpointing it with my pinpointer too. And the pinpointer that I was using at that time was a White's TRX, and that's one of the most sensitive pinpointers on the market. And I think there was one point where I almost walked away from the signal because I pulled 2 nails out of the hole, and I was like, there's no way this was my signal. But at the same time, we're burning daylight. I don't want to sit here for 20 minutes digging one thing that wasn't that great of a signal to begin with. You know what I mean? And I've heard someone else who found an American gold coin, they had said the same thing, that when they found theirs as well, it was hard to pinpoint it. So I don't know if it's just something in the general composition of the gold coins themselves. Because I mean, you know, obviously if there's 5, 6 of them in a hole, you start buying Powerball tickets. But I'm sure that's pretty. I'm sure that's a pretty pinpointable target. But
it's just a freak coincidence. I mean, gold is a really good conductor, and they make a great target. You know, like a gold ring will blow your ears off. It's just a weird thing. Even with the whole gold coin that I dug, you know, the French Redemption coin, I still gave that a kiss. I gave the very top of that coin a kiss. I don't know how, it just happens, you know.
I mean, I think I nicked this one too. I'm trying to get it to focus. I don't know if you can see the scratches on his neck or not there.
Barely. Yep.
I mean, I'm 99.9% sure that I did that, but at the end of the day, I'm not totally sure.
Well, I'm an expert on fractured coins. You did. I'm sorry to say, you can see it's a little bit lighter, and that's always a fresh, you know, situation.
That's okay. I'll take full responsibility for it.
It's a great coin, man. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And of course, Kurt's is perfect, right? So Kurt goes and digs one huge, perfect gold French coin. I think it's older than mine, right? I'm 1773, or what are you?
1740, but your first one was way older.
Jeez.
Oh man, freaking beautiful.
I wish we had more 1700s coins. You know, not only here in Nebraska, but also in Michigan. They're just not found that often. You know, especially out here in Nebraska. But you know, even in Michigan, I've only seen probably a handful come out of all the pages and all the people that I know personally and through, you know, the different Facebook pages. there's just not that many of them, and I've only found one, and that was when we went to North Carolina. That's for a lot of us. A lot of the guys that I normally detect with, I know most of them are here in the chat. Chris is one of them. We went to Dig Stock Mini in North Carolina this last year, and that was our first taste of anything colonial. Brian, I don't know if you've done ever any East Coast detecting or colonial era detecting.
I have out in New Jersey. I did a haunted farmhouse with a hanging tree in the front yard. I found my first copper there, handful of other the good stuff.
What'd you say, Ryan? You cut out right when you started talking.
I did a 1720s farmhouse in New Jersey, verified as haunted by the owner who gave me a tour of the creepy basement, and allegedly, big tree in the front yard was used to hang people. Quite the story. It was an eccentric lady.
That's a cool story, though. I mean, that's better than just, I went and did a home site in New Jersey.
Yeah, and it was the only house that old that I did out there. It was just a spur of the moment thing when I was shipped out there for work.
Yeah, I know we're all trying to get something planned to run out that way at some point. The hard part is when you're coming from out of state, number one, you don't want to encroach on anyone else's permissions, and, you don't want to just drive around door knocking aimlessly too. So, but we have taste for the East Coast somewhere.
I actually like being further from home than closer to home when I'm knocking, because I don't know, I don't feel the same pressure or awkwardness that I'll see this person at the grocery store or Walmart or I don't know. It's just I have less stress when I'm knocking somewhere that I don't even know where I am. I'm never going to see this person again, whether they say yes or no.
I'll agree for that for yards, but I would say for fields, if it's fields, I want to know who I'm talking to. Like back home, I know all the farmers. I have all their phone numbers and everything. But for yards, 1,000,000%. If I'm an hour away, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm cutting that dog fence too, so I don't want to come back.
I did that once. It was at this girl's house that I worked with. Yeah. And it was one of the ones where the alarm is really loud and won't turn off.
Oh, I've done that.
Thankfully, Nick was with me. Nick's an electrician, and so Nick and I are sitting in their front yard, just quick taping the fence up. And I'm like, well, I don't know why that sounded like a copper, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I can relate. I've split some fences in my time. I've had the alarm fence go off too, and that's like. There's no hiding that. I mean, come on.
Not a chance.
I sent a check to that guy, and actually, it turned out, geez, a whizzly on my ears. It turned out that
I'm sorry.
It's all right, buddy. It's all right. Two other people cut his line too, so there was actually 3 breaks there, but I was the only person who actually owned up to it. So I was the big man at that time. But I've cut a line before, and. See, I didn't find anything. Shame.
I did have one experience with that, and I cut the line, found out the line was definitely not my signal. Hardly picked up the pinpointer. I actually dug a wheat penny about 4 inches below it. Wow. Like a real shallow line.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of lucky near misses where you go down and you know the line's right here and your shovel goes right next to it and you're like, okay, I don't need that target anyway. Put the plug back over and call it good. There was also one time where I actually don't know what ended up happening. It was Jake and I, we were doing a yard and I dug this hole and then all of a sudden there was an alarm that started going off inside. So I was frantically searching around my hole. I was like, I don't know these people. Jake door knocked. I just showed up and started digging. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what's going on. And this alarm just didn't stop. And I could hear it in the house and it didn't stop, but nobody came outside. I checked my hole. There's no line. There's no cable. There's nothing in the hole. So I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I think it's time to bounce. You know, it's one of those things like I don't take full responsibility because I couldn't prove that it was myself that did it. Otherwise I would have, but it was very weird and coincidental.
You know, the number of times you expose a wire and you're like, oh God, that was close. Just cover that up. Didn't hit it. Didn't break it.
And then you make the mental note. You're doing like the like you're curling where you're lining everything up down nice. Okay, you're like, okay, if the fence is here, it probably goes around that tree, brings it over.
Satellite TV cables are the worst. Thank God less people have those now here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those wouldn't. I don't want to hit one of those either, because the one time you do hit it, it's going to be someone who goes, "Hey, what do you guys doing out here in my yard?" And then, throwing the beer can at you, and then it's just you want to leave as fast as possible.
Yeah, the only one I ever hit.
Back to that area again. The guy when I broke mine was real cool with it, though. I mean, it was like, I think it was even like covered, like the utility just fixed it. So I didn't even have to pay for it. He was just glad I said something.
Best case scenario right there.
For sure.
What else have you broken, Brad?
Oh God.
I've broken coins. I've broken wires. I've broken wind.
One of those a lot more than the other, it seems like.
I'm going to down a whole bag of apricots before one of these hunts, and it's going to be biblical.
Oh, jeez.
That's going to be the 11th plague.
Well, what's the craziest thing you guys dug on a hunt that may or may not have been making it to video or made it to video?
Wheat pipe, jewels.
I definitely dug, a pipe in my hole before.
Yeah.
They hit real good.
Yeah, they do. I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Box of bones. That's my weird one. I pulled a whole toolbox out of the ground, and it had a couple bones in it.
Oh, wow.
Just dug up a dog.
Family
Somebody buried.
Oh, someone buried their dog. I always wondered about that.
Yep.
Digging up an old pack. I always have. I mean, that's going to happen.
It was just a little bit of sludge in the bottom of it. It was a big. It was about it was 2 feet probably, and it had some gross stuff in the bottom. And
poor Fido.
A little bit of a bone or two, and I put that.
You thought you had a cache, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was probably 16 years old at the time, so I was like, "This is it. I finally made it."
I dug up a pair of dentures, though.
A what?
You dug what?
Pair of dentures.
Oh,
that's great.
Like false teeth from the 40s. I was able to figure that out. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I kind of.
I got some
Kinda,
silver, like a silver grill once. So was cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
That one's shiny too.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
If something odd or weird comes out, I usually try to get some sort of video of it.
Yeah.
I'll get behind that one.
Like a ring on a finger, that sort of thing.
How many guys have dug the what is it? The Merry Widows can?
I don't know if
I got one of those.
I got
one of those.
I got one out of my yard at home here. Yep.
I don't think I have it out here.
My daughter Megan is on the chat. Megan, hi. Any paranormal experiences? Any ghost stories?
But besides our machines
I would
turning
think.
off,
Oh.
besides our machines turning off on that Civil War hunt, the last year.
Was that on a video? Maybe I missed it because I don't remember that.
No, it was nothing that we spoke about on the video. I don't think we mentioned it. It was just sort of like, between us, like, what the heck's going on here? But one thing I do have on video, our friend Andy Hoop dug a breastplate. And while I was talking about it, there was a voice that you can hear clear as day that wasn't me, wasn't anybody, one of us, that I've been meaning to make a video about. I forget what exactly it said, but
it said yeah. It said
yeah, or something like that. It was weird. I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
But a Civil War site, while we were like,
Yeah, it
was
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never had any paranormal experiences metal detecting. I've had a lot of paranormal experiences, not metal detecting in buildings that I probably shouldn't have been in, but besides that, not so much.
Brad, remember? Oh man, the place what's this guy's name? We went down to meet. It was a couple hours south of us. I think the guy's name was Aaron or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's guy.
It's an 1804 farm on the water, and at the end of the day, we got into like the rows of whatever was in that field. I don't know if it was grapes, it was a vineyard or something. I don't know, but there was. I swear, I kept hearing my name. Like I kept turning around, thinking something like you were there, somebody was there, nobody was there. That was odd. I forget everything that happened that day.
Well, the owner said that area was super active.
Yes.
Just
really?
a number of experiences with groups of voices and seeing lots of shadows and lots of just that was Southern Maryland. I'll go ahead and tell you that was Southern Maryland. Yeah.
He might have had to leave. Sounded like his phone was vibrating.
Yeah, could have been a call. So the voice thing that Kurt was just talking about.
Yeah.
If y'all want to know what episode that is, and I'm sure he probably will make a mini video of it, but that's episode. Let's see here. It's called "Crazy to Think What Happened Here." So if you search on the YouTube, the Hoover Boys, "Crazy to Think What Happened Here." The thumbnail is Andy Cooper with the breastplate like this, holding it up. And it's at like the 5:30 mark or the 5:37 mark. And you can absolutely hear it. It sort of sounds like it's timed with when Kurt is breathing in, but it's not Kurt. You can tell it's not Kurt. It's definitely eerie. It's just kind of fun to listen to. It's like, there's
for
sure. I don't know what it is. But.
You guys ever thought about sending that into one of those paranormal channels?
Nah.
This is one of the things Nick said. He said he scared me by saying to myself on metal detecting, yeah, it does scare me sometimes. If we're, 10 feet away from each other and he just starts, I'm like, well, like what's going on? I don't know. I'm not a scaredy cat, but that stuff just surprises me.
I was clear out in a field one day, and this old guy comes riding up on an electric bike. I didn't know that. And I've got my back to the road, and all of a sudden I feel a hand on my shoulder. And he said I jumped about 2 feet in the air.
Yeah.
He walked all the way out the field to talk to me because he was interested in what I was doing.
That's funny.
And I actually swore for the first time, I think, in front of an 80-year-old stranger. I was like,
One of the comments here. What find did you each find that made you just stop, and the history of the relic just washed over you?
John Stevens.
That's a really, really great question. I'm gonna
That's what
pull
it's all
mine
about.
out here. I'm gonna pull mine out here. One of you guys can answer that first if you would like.
I can dive in. John, how you doing, man? I talk to John almost on the daily. John's a great dude. John, probably the George Washington inaugural button for me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So that came out of the ground, out of a farm field, and I flipped it out of the hole, and it was sort of lying on the side of the hole, linked colonies side up, and just was there it is, because that's the one we were always talking about too, and I don't think we had found that variety yet. Of course, Kurt later found a beautiful one-upped me, right? Same variety, but seeing that come out of the ground and knowing where it came from and what it meant to the person who was gifted it or purchased it and then ultimately lost it and how they felt when they lost it, I'm sure it was pretty gutted. And then to have it back is pretty crazy. So that's right. You won't be able to see it, but that's it. I promise I'm holding a GW button, not just a dandy button that I whacked. That's it. That's mine.
Here's Chris. There's that.
I really don't know.
Widows. Oh, Chris isn't even in here. All right, thanks, Chris. Mine, I have two of them, and actually I found them both out here in Nebraska so far. The first one I actually just found recently, within the last week. I have a couple other pieces of it, but it's busted, and it's just the swastika. But I don't know if it's like World War I, World War II, Nazi era, or if it's just an old good luck token, or kind of what the history of it is. And for that all of that kind of unknown, I think is really, really cool because right, the swastika itself has so much history besides what it was used for and what it stood for in World War II and everything. My other one, just because I've never found a button like it, is this. It's a heart button. So this was used post Civil War for people who played instruments in the army or in the infantry, that sort of stuff. And I think that's so cool. I mean, I have a bunch of Civil War buttons, but I think that one's my favorite for sure.
That's nice.
I think mine's got to be a William Henry Harrison log cabin button.
Nice.
Oh, you have one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And it was in Nebraska too. It was at a Native American village site. So it was Pawnee tribe, lived there from like 1700, maybe early 1600s, till about 1850. And then after they evacuated the village, it was like a major stop along the Oregon Trail and for soldiers traveling between Fort Kearny and Fort Atkinson. So it's just loaded with military buttons from the Indian Wars, War of 1812.
That's cool. Mine is going to be more of a local history relic. So in the front yard of my home, which I have the history of from 1847, I think, I dug this little teeny, I mean, it's a teeny little ring, barely fits on the end of my pinky. And I did some research on it, and it's a Victorian baby ring. So I don't know. I just really love this one. I just wonder what little baby wore this ring at some point, and how did it end up in my front yard. And I actually found it, the exact ring online. You can, it was kind of a mass-produced one, but I don't know. That's just kind of I like the local stuff, the stuff that kind of I can relate to because I live in the house that it was found at and stuff like that. So
it's interesting. We don't find those little rings. Like the kids don't wear rings. That people don't give rings to babies like they used to, I guess, in Victorian time. Bracelets too. It's like when you're digging out a park around here, you find those occasionally. They're tough to find because they're so small and they're like low conductors, but they come out of the ground sometimes, but you'll never find a modern one, and you'll never see a baby wearing a ring these days.
No,
every now and again pierced ears, but
pierced ears, exactly.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it was a fad for photos, I guess, when they first started having photographs. Even though you probably wouldn't have seen it anyway. They didn't get that close, but that's what I've read at least.
Yeah, having your photo taken was a big deal, so you wanted to get all dolled up for it, and you took it seriously too. You didn't smile in the photos; it was just like a portrait, and you want to look your best.
Yep.
Anybody here? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut somebody off.
I'd have to say mine. I've hunted a site up here locally in Michigan that's got a lot of history, and the gentleman that was the husband of the family went off to the Civil War, was captured in one of the battles out in Pennsylvania, actually, as he was heading down. I don't know what battle. Got sick, escaped, got recaptured, and apparently they went to when they got sick, they didn't want to devote resources to him, and they just kind of let him go with a little bit of food and this and that. And he got to the southern line of Michigan, and the Native Americans who actually lived on their property for years recognized the guy and brought him back up here. And I found the mooring buttons and his general service buttons on the site, and ended up getting connected to a descendant of theirs. And so at some point this year, I need to go out to, they're now in Connecticut, I guess, and they want to see all the stuff that I found and kind of connect the dots. So,
East Coast trip 2022. I'm signing up.
Well, you know what site it is, Chandler.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me then, because I want to know which one it is.
The one where you found the largie, where I met Mike.
What? Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say the one I found the largie. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah. So
Sounds like a very vague description.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I found. Yeah. I was
well,
like,
no, but you know which one I'm talking about.
I do now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do now.
Andy Coop. Andy Coop in the chat. What's up, Uncle Andy? Say something. Say something on the chat. Make me laugh.
Andy Coop.
Andy Coop. You know Andy Coop owns like 38 geese. It's amazing. He's got a bunch of geese.
Do you guys just give them the bird tags you find in the field and say start making necklaces or tagging them up, or?
He's a bird man.
That's what I would do.
I've yet to be able to track one of those. I think I found like 6 or 7 of them.
I'd throw them away.
And
I think I've got a couple people out somewhere.
I would be more interested if I caught a fish with a tracking thing in it than finding one of the old bird tags.
I don't know. I guess you could see where the bird came from with one of those, right? You know when it was tagged and where it was tagged. Is that what the purpose of those things more or less? See how far they travel, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like track my George Washington. Where is Washington.com or whatever. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Y'all seen one of those?
I haven't either.
No.
They were popular. How long ago was that? Was
15
that like
years, 10, 15 years. I remember that.
That was fun.
That's like when the internet was fresh. That's like you were either tracking your Washington or going on MySpace. It's one or the other.
MySpace. Oh my gosh.
That was a good time, right? Sparkly roses and
all those pages were busy.
Oh man,
busy pages.
Oh, Kurt's phone died. That's why he had to get off of there. So he just wanted to say thanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad he was able to make it. That's awesome.
He got to come in and say hi.
Bye, Big Red. Good riddance.
Oh my gosh.
So you guys know what the oldest thing is you found out there? Like each one of you, or off the top of your head?
Oldest, Native American for sure. Well,
I mean,
shark
not
teeth.
oldest.
Shark teeth.
I found a farthing from 1675, 1678, 1670 something. So that was a great find. A cob from the early 1600s.
Cob is awesome.
And an 8 Maravedis coin, which is a hammered copper coin, and that was from 1641. Somebody knows. Cody, are you in the chat? What year was that?
Right. He's checking them off the list as you're going.
He's checking them. Yeah, right. He's got all the videos running simultaneously.
Where is that from?
Right.
What country?
What's that?
The
Maravedis. It's Spanish. It's a Spanish coin. 8 Maravedis.
Okay.
It's another bucket lister.
Yeah, it was a tough one to ID too. You could barely see enough on it to make it out. And they're very crude coins too, because they're all hammered like upside down inside, and you get different pieces of them. It's like a cob, but it's the size of a copper and just as crude. Unexpected find. That was actually near a roadway too. It's just like you think you're gonna dig some more aluminum, and then no, it's a hammered coin from the 1600s. Sweet. Bob's talking up his oldest coin in the chat. I'll talk for him since he's not on here. He's got Lizzie. It is a Lizzie, right? Crap. 1561. He says is it a threepence? I don't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, that's a hammered coin from England that he dug here in the States. That doesn't happen often.
Wow.
What I think 2 guys in our group have done it, and that's Smiley, Steve.
I was gonna say, doesn't Smiley have hammered too?
Yeah, and Bob found the first one.
Smiley.
And, I still think it's Canslaw, and his eyes are bad.
Yeah, I think Bob's is the oldest. Yeah.
Steve's is 1569. Yeah, so Bob's is older and bigger.
That'd be crazy. Just digging a signal, you're like, oh great, woohoo, and then it's just a 600-year-old coin. 500-year-old coin. Just
right.
Yeah, it always smacks you in the face when you least expect it, and that's why we go out.
So it brings us back every single time.
Yep, exactly. To get away from our wives. I'm just kidding. That is a joke.
Oh,
that is a joke, baby.
Jeez.
That is a joke.
Yeah, that's how it was for Ryan and I on
It's
Sunday.
from the kids.
Can't really relate to that too much, but
Yeah.
I can.
can't
How many
relate to that
kids for everybody, Brian? How many do you have?
I have 2 biological and 3 step. So
Okay, you're a busy man. Chris, you threw up gang sign 4.
Yep.
Woo!
16 to 24. So I'm.
You're over the hump, right? Yeah.
He could be my dad if you wanted to.
I'm the Gramps in the group. Well,
That's his
one older
nickname.
than me now.
We call him Gramps, and we call the other older one Peepaw.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was happy to get someone older than me in the group. So.
But we still give him more shit than we do the other one.
Yes, you do. It's all
Wisdom.
good. I can take it.
Wisdom? I don't know about
Wisdom.
that.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Andy Cooper wants to know how old Leo's cut silver Spanish was. Leo, do you remember how old you're?
We never got a date.
Yeah,
I don't think it had any
was
date
one of
on there.
those- Was it? Yeah, we don't even know. It was past globes and pillars. It was milled something or other. Yeah, it's late 1700s variety.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I can't
So it's
remember.
not very old.
Matt, that was hilarious. Yes.
It's a 20 centavos from the 40s.
Matt McCown says Bob acting dead by his Listerine was hilarious. That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
That was a part of an intro, I think, too, because you saw that on the beginning of a lot of videos for a while. And he's like, Kurt, what is Kurt goes, Bob, it's a Pisterine. And he's like, oh,
It's a
my
Pisterine.
Remember that from the intro long ago.
We'll bring that intro back.
That's right. That was in the intro. Or was that the same one as the intro?
Mm-hmm.
That was in the intro, I think, right about the time I was just starting to get into metal detecting. So that was like 16, 17, maybe.
So
16. Yeah, it would have been 16 in there.
So speaking of getting right into metal, who was your first YouTube? I guess who did you start watching YouTube when you first started metal detecting before the Hoover Boys, of course? I was Nugget first.
I was
Nugget
the same thing. Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. I watched Nugget.
Really?
Yeah.
I heckled him at one point. I heckled him because he was.
It's easy to heckle.
Listen. No, he was swinging. He was swinging the F-75 as well.
Okay.
And he switched to Garrett, and I just wanted to be like, why'd you switch to Garrett? I was one of those guys saying, you selling out or something? The F-75 is a better metal detector. You know it, right? You know it's a better. So I was one of those guys. A jerk, I guess. And,
obviously.
I was talking to him about it later.
And now look at you.
Remember when I was messing with you on that F-75?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's where I started though. Technically, my first probably ever video was Aqua Chugger, but then
Aqua Chugger.
Yeah,
I've never heard that before. I've actually never heard Aqua Chugger.
Yeah, that's when I started, and then Nugget Noggin.
I've heard Chigger, but you said Aqua Chugger.
Did I say Chigger? I meant Chugger.
So that was a purposeful joke. That was great. I'm going to start calling him Aqua Chugger now. That's great.
I love it. Yeah, Chugger.
Right.
Do you see it?
He's going to love that one.
I'm going to take you down with me.
Down to the chug zone.
Yep. The Chugger.
Right.
Good name.
I started watching Quarter Order as well as the Hoover Boys. I love Jason. I've always loved his videos.
That man's got energy.
Yeah, he does. When I started was, I don't know, probably pretty close to when Doug became a regular on the channel. Their chemistry and connection on camera and both off camera is phenomenal. I love it. And I think there was one summer, I think it was 2020, where I just went on the biggest Hoover Boys binge. I think it was like every day after work because it was the pandemic. Go home, watch 3 Hoover Boys videos, and go, I need to go do more detecting. Come home from work the next day.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Rinse and repeat.
They
All
inspire me.
winter-
Definitely
all
inspire me to get
winter
out.
long.
Right.
All winter long. Yep.
I started off watching the Hoover Boys and my college classes. With my senior year, I was checked out and ended up buying a detector.
Yeah.
What do you
Tell him,
swing,
Brad.
Ryan? I don't know that I've ever asked Chandler. What are you swinging, Ryan?
Oh, I'm swinging an Amphibio right now. Got a Deus 2 coming in the mail.
Okay.
I told him to order one when I did, but he wouldn't do it, and now he's still waiting.
And now I regret it.
Is that taken over? I live under a rock. I truly do. I don't buy into a lot of stuff. But is the Deus 2 supposed to corner the market like with the Equinox? Is that what's going on?
It should, because it has a simultaneous multi.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that was kind of the thing it didn't have that the Nox did. So,
I don't think it's there yet. Just because number one, it's kind of like a customer order vehicle from any car manufacturer right now. You're just not going to get it for 6-8 months. And I also think the price tag is going to be something that's going to hinder people right now, because I think once people start getting them, they're going to be $1,500-$1,600 before you can even get the MI2. I'm sorry, the MI6 pinpointer with it. I love mine so far. I'm still, learning it and everything, but I am tickled to death with it.
That's cool. What did you change from? What were you swinging before the Deus?
I had a AT Pro. Originally, what I was going to do was upgrade to the Deus 1 in the winter of last year, from 2020 going into 2021. And like I said earlier, we all went to Dig Stock Mini, and so we did a live stream last winter with Pete Sorrell. And, you guys know he's on Team XP USA. And so we got to talking about machines and everything. We're like, yeah, we're going to upgrade. And he's like, well, if you guys are going to upgrade, XP's coming out with a new machine sometime in the next year or two. And I can't say anything else, but you guys are going to want to wait for it. And at that point, I was like, if it's a Deus 2 that's waterproof and multi-frequency, I'm done. I'll swing the Pro for another year. It's fine with me. And out of the dealer that we use here, I was the first pre-order. As soon as I could, I was like, listen, this is what I need.
Nice. Yeah, it does look expensive. I was just looking the secondary market to see if you can buy one that's already been used, but I see somebody selling it for $1,800 with a Pro. That's pretty expensive for a beef stick.
Yeah.
A beef stick. I've never heard that before.
You've never heard
I've never heard
stick?
that. No, I've never heard that.
The man who said aqua chugger by accident has never heard beef stick.
Yep.
All right, that's cool. Yeah.
Well,
around.
he has hearing problems anyway.
Wow.
He's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just wait till my air metal detector comes in the mail. I'm gonna probably. I don't know.
And whatever happened to the cell phone detector? Do you remember that
Oh,
thing?
that thing. There's been so many ads for that.
I have one coming. I paid the Kickstarter back in November of 2019. I still haven't gotten it.
Really?
I was gonna say, I was like,
interesting.
Long time.
I know. It's been 2.5 years. I'm super interested in. I mean, there's people getting them, posting videos, and they look kind of interesting, but I don't know. I'll try
it's
it out.
got the brains and the coil, just like the Deus, essentially, right?
Yes. And your cell phone is your cell phone's the brains, the coil, and they connect. Yeah, just like a Deus. Yep.
That's kind of why. So Deus originally had a software thing that tagged onto it that you could drop pins for fines. They got rid of it because somebody reverse engineered the software so that you could do it with a cell phone, and then they realized, shoot, people are going to pay the $600 for the controller part of the Deus, so they got rid of it. Now it's supposed to be coming back now that the 2's out, but they're not saying when. I'll probably never see it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm kind of a gadget guy, and it makes sense to have it as an app and then talk to the coil. And over the air constant downloads of updates and all that kind of good stuff, and GPS coordinates and all that. It just makes sense to me. So I went with it. I paid the $200 up front, and I'm still waiting for it though. So we'll see. But I think it's a Ukrainian company, so that might be an issue right now.
Well, that's a great concept until you're getting a nice tone coming in and your wife is blowing your text up.
Well, and there's the other. Yeah, I've thought of that already too. I got to have a burner phone for that one.
Put her on silent mode.
Yeah, a burner phone that kind of hotspots to my regular phone. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But
that's funny.
When are you going to be home? When are you going to be home?
And it comes right into your phones, you know.
I used to screw up. I used to tell my wife, I would say, I'm going to try to be home, and I'd give it time. Be like, I try to be home by 6. No, you never give it time. You do not give it time.
Today is Tuesday. It's metal detecting day. Today is Saturday. Metal detecting. Yeah.
Never oversell and underdeliver. Never do that.
Yeah.
My go-to is I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm not finding much. I'll probably be out of here in the next half hour or so. 2.5 hours later, I'm like, yeah, I'm walking to the truck.
Yeah.
And still not walking to the truck.
It's the same exact thing as fishing. I mean, it's like, okay, one more, this one. Dirt fishing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep. Exactly.
It's an addiction.
Yeah. Good times.
You guys want a good tip for getting permissions, using Facebook to get permissions?
Yes.
I'd love to hear it.
All right. So I just moved to a new city here in Maryland, and I joined a Facebook group which is devoted to gratitude, giving away, like a free cycle page, those pages, right?
We have those.
So yeah, so join those groups in your area, right? And it's like a give, services, ask, whatever kind of a group format. And the people are typically really nice that are on those groups. So I threw up an ask, and I was like, this is kind of a non-conventional ask, but I'm a metal detector nerd and I am new to the area, and I am looking for places to just stretch my legs and go for a walk with my beep stick. And you're welcome to anything I find. And I just need to meet some people here and branch out. And I probably have 10 pending permissions, people that I need to get back to, seriously, because a lot of people responded and they're like, I only have an acre, you're welcome to come out. Or I have 2 acres, and I sometimes take my dog through the backwoods, and there's a weird pile of rocks, and sometimes we find farm equipment, and it's like, I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that's the tip. So join those free cycle pages, and then it helps if you give some stuff away too first to sort of establish yourself on the page and get into that gratitude, whatever, and then you can put an ask enough that once people know you, it's like I'd love to do some protecting, and you'd be surprised. Yeah,
I always think it's crazy how many times whenever you door knock, wherever, and especially for a field, and you're like, yeah, there used to be a home site there, turn of the century, and they go, yeah, you can go out there, you're not going to find anything, but you can go out there. And it's like, okay, thanks. And those are usually the places where you go and you're like, oh, this is my 4th seated quarter of the day and it's 11 a.m. This is a good place to be.
Yeah,
Dave, I'm from the Lincoln area.
Find anything.
It's just so classic, like especially when you roll up to one of the biggest beautiful old brick or stone houses, and people are like, you want to do my yard? Like, yeah, that's where the old stuff is going to be, right? Well, yeah, but you're just going to find some nails probably. Okay. Speaking of Ryan, when I door knocked that place that we hit, the lady said that she had her nephew out there with a metal detector, and they didn't ever find anything. He'd been out 5 or 6 times, and they never found anything. So I don't know where they were at in the yard.
Wow.
But
they must not have turned the machine on.
Well, and Jack, the other farmhouse, he said the exact same thing. He's like, yeah, I've had buddies out there just screwing around. I never found much. It's pretty junky. I was like, all right, let's do this,
Well, they were swinging a no offense, a bounty hunter tracker IV from 1991.
Right.
Ah, that's the one.
Yeah. I had a bounty hunter drop too. Found my first silver coin with a bounty hunter, actually.
I remember Nick, he went to bed, I'm sure, because he wakes up really early for work, but he found a Indian before he found a Wheatie, and we just had our little Ace 200s or Ace 250s at the time. and it was like the second house I ever door knocked, and they're like, "Yeah, you can do ours. It's been hunted a lot, but if you go across the yard or if you go across the road, we own that, and no one's ever detected it." And we were like, "Oh, okay." We go over there, and Nick was like, "Oh, I got a penny," and I was like, "Nice job." I was digging like can slaw by the road. I'm like, "Nice job, dude." He's like, "It's a wheat," and I'm like, "Hey, man, congrats." He goes, "No, it's not," and I was like, "Yeah, I didn't think so." Kind of getting all hyped up. Like, yeah, it's not going to be a wheat. He goes, "It's got an Indian on it," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" I've never even found one. I've never heard of one of those. He was fired up about it, and I was kind of upset about it.
Didn't Mike find a largie before he even found a Lincoln?
Yeah. So the story with Mike is Mike and I went to high school together. He was a year ahead of me.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, he was a year ahead of me, and he posted on Facebook. In one of the groups, he's like, "Oh, second time out, found a few bullets," and he was just swinging a Vanquish 340 at the time. And I was like, "No way, that's the Mike I went to school with, is it?" And so I clicked on the profile. Sure enough, it was. I messaged him, and I was like, "Yo, dude, I do this stuff all the time. We have a whole group of guys that we do it with. You got to come out with us. I'll get you set up on an upgraded machine." So we got him set up on a Nox 800 and everything, and I do most of the research for the group, and so I just had permission after permission after permission just lined up. And so one field we went to is like probably his third time out with the Nox 800. He pulls the 1829 matron head large sent out. And the time before that, it was just Indian. It took him like a month and a half to find his first memorial after we got him upgraded. That's because that's just the age of the sites we were doing.
Those are the best kinds of sites. No modern change. Nothing to fool you.
He did the same thing with an SLQ. He's like, "I don't know what it is, but it's silver." And he's just sitting there rubbing it. I'm like, "Oh, it's probably a Washington." He's like, "Oh, there's an eagle on it." And I was like, SLQ. That's a clip from the intro, actually.
Isn't it funny that an SLQ is a standing Liberty quarter and not a seated Liberty quarter?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's always weird to me. It's like it's an
SLQ. Many seated ones come up.
That's what, right? Yeah. So it's like you say SLQ, it's just instantly it's the one you dig more of. But I don't know. If you're Kurt, you dig more seated quarters than standing quarters. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Have any of you guys dug a seated quarter?
Say again.
Any of you guys dug a seated quarter?
Chris has. I watched Chris dig his from half an acre away.
Yeah, 1853.
Nice.
Oh no, I had to walk everything.
Yeah, I found mine in a park.
That's a seated half.
Oh wow.
That's
Tom
beautiful.
got a seated
I've
half.
only
right,
gotten
Chandler?
that seated dime. Seated
That's what I'm
dime.
saying. Is dimes.
You got that baby slabbed there? Is that because it's a key date, or you just wanted to preserve it, or what?
I just want to preserve it.
That's cool.
Oh, hey, Brad.
Yeah.
So way along.
It's not an official slab. It's just a cheapie.
I see. Gotcha.
Earlier tonight, someone asked if you ever had your flowing hair valued. I was going to ask you that.
No, I took it to a coin shop just for fun to see what the guy would say, because I had a bunch of coins and stuff, and then I started slowly getting older. Like, his eyebrows would go up. Like, oh, okay, we're getting somewhere. It's like getting the flowing hair, and but no, I mean, it's easy to evaluate that coin because you can honestly go onto eBay or look up past auction results and find them in low grade. Like you can buy a flowing hair halftime, that's got issues, or maybe the date is all the way worn off, or it's hold or something. You can get them for I haven't looked in a while, but for under four figures, you can get them for like $600-800.
Okay.
Mine, if it was straightened, it's not too bad, but it's got a nice little ding in it.
Oh, okay.
But if it was straightened, I could probably see a reasonable price of maybe $1,200 for it.
Oh, okay.
I like to lie to myself though and say, yeah, well, I dug it, so it's worth more. Yeah, right. it's flowing hair. It's the one, right? Yeah, it's worth it.
And we all know it's not. I mean, we don't. I don't plan on ever selling any of my stuff either, but
me either.
It is kind of cool to know what the market value is on those kind of things.
I agree. There's an interesting stigma sort of against selling finds. If I found something that was worth a significant amount. I would rather put it in my girls' college funds, I think, than in a display in my
Exactly. If it's going to change my life, then yes, I'll probably, for the better, I probably would. You're right. Yeah.
And for me, it's I think the cut for me would be 5 figures. Like if I found something that was worth 10 G's, I'd be like, I'm going to send it to auction. It's got to go. I need to get back to the family, and that'll get me back out more anyway, because it's like, you know.
Yep.
But
For
yeah,
sure.
there is just some people in the hobby will look down their nose and be like, I can't believe you sell your finds. That's really a shame. You don't respect the history for selling your find.
What if it's like a modern ring or something like that? No way of finding the owner.
Sell it.
Yeah, I can scrap that. I scrapped all the gold that I found probably between, I think it was like 2007 or 2008. I scrapped all the gold that I'd found up to that point. And so everything I found after about 2008, I have just because. But yeah, I could scrap that without a problem. But you know, that is one thing that's kind of fun to take out and talk about and see if my girls that are growing up have an interest in it too. It's like, I don't want to give too much away, or I don't want to sell too much without seeing if my family wants it or if I'm going to pass it down or something. But if they don't have an interest in it, I will be parting ways with it. And
Yep, it's all going to my son. So whatever I find, he gets.
There you go.
That's awesome.
So he's gonna have that baseball pin to look forward to.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know, Leo. In the right market, that could be the 5 figures, possibly.
Yep.
There it is. Balto.
There it
baby.
is.
No hiding where you found that.
Yep.
That's
right.
Cool.
That's a heck of a find right there.
That's
awesome. Thing.
It's not every day you see sports related stuff like that coming up.
It's something.
Say again, Ryan.
It's not every day you see sports
not 19th century.
Mm-mm. No,
yeah, especially not 19th century
baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not even a baseball fan. That's the crazy part.
All right.
I coached for 6 years, played all my life, so that would be baseball find would be real cool.
Yeah. Same.
So, this is kind of off subject. Speaking of old sports, right? So you don't see a lot of baseball in 19th century. That's pretty old stuff. I've had this kicking around for a while. I need to sell it, right?
Oh, very cool.
You see what that is?
Nice.
Looks like a team of girls holding a ball.
Yeah. So it's a team of like maybe middle school girls with a basketball. Right, and it's a photograph, and it's 1915. I have no idea what the team is, but you've got girls playing is that basketball? Was there basketball in 1915, or was that a different?
Yeah, there's basketball in 1915.
Okay, well then there you go. It's like I feel like this is something that's completely kind of an anomaly, and you don't see a lot of any basketball from the early 1900s, let alone a group of girls around a girl team. So I'm just like, it's interesting.
Where'd you forget that?
Tangent. I got that at an auction probably 5 years ago, and it's just in my stack of need to find a new home.
Yeah.
It needs a new zip code, but it's interesting.
I have a lot of
where it's from.
Maryland somewhere, some estate. But so the girls, the logo is kind of interesting. It's like a TM. You see it on the ball. TM.
Sort of.
1915.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The T is in the middle of the M. Yep, 1915. That's cool.
Yeah, so
that's very cool. You can't. Did you do any research? I mean, if you can't find anything on it,
I did not give it any effort yet. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I have a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. I have 2 laser buttons from a golf course. I don't know what golf course it is, but it's the same button. Found both of them in Michigan, 2 completely different parts of Michigan. And I think they're both about turn of the century, which is pretty cool. Yeah. That's really the only sports memorabilia that I have.
I've got nothing.
I got a 1920s golf ball that I eyeballed in a parking lot construction.
That's awesome.
That is pretty
cool. It's by an old park that has a golf course smack in the middle of it.
Awesome.
Ryan does a lot of tear outs. He's invited me to a few of them, and they're a different animal in Omaha with him. The ones,
yeah, loaded with trash. EMI. Did find my first mini ball in an Omaha street tear out.
yeah, the ones that I'm used to in Michigan are like, old neighborhoods from the 20s and 30s,
That's
just
pretty cool.
popping Mercs
Hey,
and
those are
Rosies
fun
out
too.
left and right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was coming back. He's like, "You want to stop by?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." It's like on the side of a building, just this disgusting dirt mound. He's like, "Yeah, this is where I found 2 seated dimes." I'm like, "What?"
That sounds just like a tear out. Oh yeah, I found seated dime, shield nickel, whatever. And they're all crusty as can be.
Yeah. We had the opportunity a number of years ago. I actually still kick myself about this one. Nick and Jake and I went down to Sturgis. I don't, you Michigan guys know where that is, but the other guys, it's down near the Michigan-Indiana border. And it was a rainy day, and we were doing yards, and it was cold out, and we weren't really in the best of moods because we'd been getting no's. And we drove right through downtown Sturgis, right through the heart of the oldest part of the town, and there's a street tear out. And we didn't have the stones to do it because we had never done a street tear out before, and we didn't know what the legality of everything was. And we're like, we're a long ways from home. We don't want to get in trouble for doing this. And so we drove by it and kept going.
Never try, never know.
That's right.
If you try, you will know.
Yeah.
That's a really good sushi roll, actually. There's one in the area. Never try, never know roll.
Right.
Sounds good.
That sounds like a name for a sushi roll.
Gas station sushi.
Yeah, Chandler, if you're around this summer when Omaha road construction starts, I know some people who know
Gone again.
tear-outs for us would just be fair game.
Okay.
They just like kind of expect we're going to show up.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll see. There's upcoming stuff that, some of the guys know about, but not everybody does yet. So we'll see when that timeline goes into effect. So
they were supposed to do some up in the town I'm looking to move to, and then next thing you know, the date rolls around for it. No bricks have come up. Keeps getting put off.
Bye, Bob.
Good night, Bob. Thanks for stopping
Bye,
by.
Bob.
I love you, Bob.
See you later, Bobby.
Next time you have to join in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's up to you guys how much longer. It's 10:30 for you guys. Ryan and I are good. We're here in Central Time, so you guys are the ones that are staying up late. It's however long you guys want to go tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm
about out.
I'm gonna go. I gotta be up at 3:30 for work. So.
Early start.
That's no bueno. No.
Leo,
Yeah.
are you on a rooftop again tomorrow?
But
Leo, are you on a
yes.
rooftop again? Yeah.
Ooh,
That's a nice view.
So you can scout out some permission?
Yeah, but I'll be inside on a rooftop, so I'm good.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh.
Oh, you want me to take another picture for you?
Yeah, send it. Yep. With a permission.
Okay, guys.
Well, thanks
All
for
right,
coming
Leo.
out, Leo. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'll try to get one.
See you, Leonard.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Have a
Yep.
good night.
See you guys.
See you.
Yep, you too. Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. He's still there. Heckle him. He's still there. He
the
can hear
classic
us.
It's not going. It doesn't want me to leave.
Ryan left on him. There he is. All right.
Now we can talk about him. Oh,
I was gonna take everybody out and just focus on him.
Leo that never shows up in the videos. Come on, man.
It's good to see Leo for a minute.
Yeah, it is.
See you, Cody. Thanks for coming out.
We
man.
need to use like telepathy, get into his head. Leo, you must go digging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
It's
I'm a
hard to get
Leo
out
of
there.
our group, Chandler.
You're leaving already?
No. I'm the Leo of our group.
Oh, you're the Leo of our group.
Yeah. The one that shows up like, hey, Chris is here. Yeah. I don't get to go out as much as I want to.
After we already pulled out 20 1800s coins, and you're like, oh, I got a
And
memorial.
then I'll walk the opposite way and find a Lincoln.
Yeah, that's what Chris does. We're all like on the home site, pounding the iron, and Chris is out an acre and a half away, and he's just like, I got a Lincoln every time.
Yeah.
But we did get a really good joke out of Chris though, back when we all first started getting together. So the you know what it is, because as soon as I say it, Chris, you're gonna know what it is. The field that I found the gold coin at it's an old field. There's a lot of 1860s and 70s Indians that came out of there. I'm sure there's flying eagles and stuff there. We just haven't found them. But we also pulled like 2 coppers out of there, a lot of Civil War tokens, shield nickels, all that sort of stuff. And so after I found the gold coin, that was when we got the whole group out there in the field for the first time. And everyone was all fired up. Everyone's finding shield nickels and Civil War tokens. And Chris is like, oh, I got a good coin. I got a good coin. And he's like, it's a Wheatie. And so we're all just digging all this stuff out. So then since then we've always had the joke, oh, I found a wheat there once.
I found a wheat there. That's me.
Because that's what he found. We're pulling out gold coins from the 1830s and largies, and he found a wheat there once.
I am the only one of the group that found a dandy button. So
I knew it was coming.
It's coming. There it is.
I knew it was coming.
Button.
I love a dandy. Every dandy is a joy to find. You just never know what's on the other side. It comes out and you're like, come on, baby.
It was beautiful.
Everyone's a lottery ticket.
Yeah. That was at Dig Stock in North Carolina. I got the dandy.
Sweet.
Have any fancy on it?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
I'll put a picture.
It's always a good dandy. Only dandy I've ever dug. It's got like a ring of faces. Who knows what came out of a tear out.
Okay. Oh, really? A tear out. That's cool. You got a picture of it, Chandler?
I'll
Or
put
do I
one up
get
here.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'll put one up here. I just
Hey,
gotta
Brad, I'm sorry to sound ignorant, but the inaugural buttons, like, what do those actually go on to?
What do they go on to?
Yeah, I mean, most of the dandies are on some article of clothing, right? But what?
Yeah, they're big coat buttons.
But did they?
And,
so they
and
just
there's also cuff buttons too. There's GW variety cuffs, little ones. They rarely come up. Every now and again, you'll see somebody post one in a group. They'll find a little GW cuff, but most of the time they're the dandies, and that's the big coat front buttons.
But so it doesn't come on like a special like GW jacket or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Like they handed out green jackets at the event. No, I think they probably would have been sold. I mean they'd be expensive to make. I don't think they would have just given them out to everybody who came to the inauguration. You're talking thousands and thousands of people. I think there probably would have been vendors. You'd get a turkey leg right here, right? And then you get your GW button from the next 10 over. That's just the way I think it would be. But I don't know if there's any documentation out there as, how they were either given or vended, but I suspect they were vended.
So then just the seamstress of the house put them on whatever clothing article.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So you reuse your buttons. Absolutely. That's why, you can find Civil War buttons, not at Civil War locations, because it's just, you take them home and you keep using them because buttons are expensive, right? You put them on the next thing. So
It's on my bucket list. I need to find one of those.
GW.
It's a rush.
Just the dandy button in general.
Yeah, every dandy button's a great time. I like tombacks. You rub a tomback button. Sometimes they look like a silver coin in the hole. It's like, oh man. Then you remember the target you were digging. It was like a low number, like 11 or 12 or something on a Knox, or a 40 or a 50 on a Garrett machine. It's like, no, that's not a coin. It's a button.
Hey, maybe it had a bunch of iron in with it.
That's true. That is true too. You never know. Yeah. That's that whole conversation. That's a whole other topic of like, what did it ring up as? That bothers me. I don't know why. What did it ring up as? It's like, well, it rings up different every single site you go to. So if you think you're going to dig 12s and get gold rings every time, don't dig a number. Don't dig a number. Just dig non-ferrous. If it's non-ferrous and you're in the right spot and it's old and stuff is coming up, just dig it up. Yeah.
Brad,
even if you got trash contamination, it's still worth it.
Yep, exactly. GMMT.
You never know what you're going to miss.
What's
up, Brad? Good to have you in here.
Hey.
Welcome, Brad.
Brad's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
What's a white whale you got out there, Brad?
Say again?
What's a white whale that still's out there for you that...
I said actually in a video, I think the wrap-up video pretty recently, a Crotobell with jingle in it. I don't think I've ever found one with a jingle jangle in it.
Oh, wow.
So that's on the list. A U.S. gold coin would be lovely. That's something that's on the list. I think only Muck's found one too. Kurt and Muck have U.S. little $1 gold coins, but they do not come up often. Not too long ago, somebody found like one of those 1810 or 1808 or so. I saw one of those stupid gold coins hit the boards, the face page or whatever. And it's just like one of those finds. Like, oh my gosh, you don't see that eagle very often, or you don't see that bust design very often.
Right.
It's just.
Did those even circulate, or were those just bullion coins?
Oh, they were spenders. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So as soon as they were made to be spent.
Was that the one that was faked? Because there was one that was faked. That
I thought that was the cut up seeded halves that was faked.
That was faked. Unless he was tired of being heckled. I don't know. I almost thought that he was just tired of people calling him out. And he's like, "Fine, I faked it. Go away." But
I bought it hook, line, and sinker if it was fake.
Yeah, me too.
Like I didn't question it for a second.
Yeah. Somebody sent me screenshots, and I don't remember who, of him saying, "I faked it," and it was interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it got posted in the comments. I bet that was a nightmare drama to deal with as an admin.
Yeah, they were real silver, like they were actually cut up seeded pieces, right? They were real
like
coins.
Who would do that to a coin that you buy? Like it just doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, he would have had to have purchased those or came into them at an estate or an auction or something, been like, wow, I can use these. But then again, it's like, why would you do that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't take a side either way. I usually just like to avoid all that stuff.
That was so
like
bizarre.
I know there's a fakers like Facebook page out there too, like devoted to calling people out. Like, this guy's a known faker. Ostracize him. Get him out. Whatever.
Have you ever seen? I know the one I've never seen anybody dig one. The 20-cent seeded.
No, nobody in our group. That's on the list. Absolutely. Somebody put one down in the ground a long time ago. I think it was like in a video in early 2016. Maybe even before we met Bob, somebody put one in the ground and was like, oh my God, fake out. Just a plant, just for fun, for the reaction. But yeah, nobody's found a 20 center in THB. Mm-mm.
Those are pretty rare, I think, anyway.
Yeah, they are. And yeah, they're a couple. I think they're like $100 for one in low grade, even.
Not true. I bought a really scuffed up and hold one for $4. It got mistaken as a seeded quarter. I used to go into the coin shop, and the guy would always put together like a can of coal grade seeded coins and sell them to me for like just a hair over the spot price. And lo and behold, there's a 20 center in there.
That's fun. I only have one. I bought one in a flea market, and I feel like I paid $80 or $100 for it. I'm looking. You got me curious now. I'm looking at eBay to see what they're selling for.
I can guarantee you yours is a heck of a lot nicer than mine.
Maybe so.
It's a real piece of work.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one dog. I don't see anybody posting that.
That's like a fantasy bucket lister, I feel like.
Yeah.
When we go out, I want to see that. Ryan, bring that next time we go.
Oh yeah, I'll bring it along.
I've never seen one in person, so.
Now, is that just a hair bigger than
it's very easy to mistake for a quarter because it's like a quarter minus the rim.
Oh.
And it does have a slightly different eagle on the back, and I feel like the seeded Liberty image is a little bit smaller.
It is different. Yeah, the eagle on the back of the 20 center, it doesn't look as good as the eagle on the quarter, in my opinion. It's a weird looking eagle. Yeah, anyway, I was looking for my 20-cent piece over there, but I couldn't find it. I guess I lost it.
I am not at my own house right now, so I do not have access.
Here's one. 1875S sold on a best offer for $70, and it looks dug, actually. It does look like a dug coin. It's got some black spots on it.
Does it have the like little scratches from where you wiped the dirt off of it?
The pictures aren't clear enough to see it. And the back does have some damage on it. It's got somebody who started to hole it right in the middle. But the obverse looks pretty pretty decent. That's a clear date. I guess I'd still call it a coal coin, but it's a good looking coal coin. $70. So yeah,
Always have their own little unique beauty to them.
own little
They're
collectability.
interesting.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Modified,
A little more
right?
personality.
Counter stamped.
Oh, I would love to dig a counter stamped coin.
They do not come up often. I dug one in England. The one time we went to England, I found a unidentifiable copper that said 10 robins on it, for whatever that means. I don't know. Trade for 10 robins.
I have
Robins
a
are
copper
delicious.
with a name on it. It's counter stamped copper that I have. Just says a name on it.
That's cool.
Dug one?
Yeah, I'll grab it. It's right here.
Yeah, and my friend Barrett dug one right about 10 feet from me on one of my permissions. It was a Canadian token. It's a
I
beautiful
have
coin.
a Canadian bank token pulled up for me off one of my permissions too.
Yeah, that's what it was, but it was counter stamped.
There it is. It's coming
There
in
you
now.
go.
Oh, yeah.
That's clean.
That's cool. That's awesome. Where'd you get that, Chandler?
Field on Byron Road.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell the people.
If they can find it, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. When you say that, I know where it's at.
Yeah.
That might be where I got my. Was that where I got my 3-cent nickel?
No.
Okay.
No one from our group's ever been in that field except for me and Mike and Brian.
So over
this Brian. This Brian, not. No, wait. No, I did not find that there. That was at the. That
I
was
think you're
at the
thinking of
Flying
that
Eagle
shield
field.
nickel field.
Shield
So that's
nickel
the one he
field.
took me to.
Yeah, that's where I took you.
You took him to Shield Nickel, my Shield Nickel field?
No.
Oh.
So out here,
not
there's
my
not a lot
field,
of.
but my.
Yeah, there's no. It was the field on.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's where Brian found his flying eagle. It's where I found my first flying eagle. Where Mike found his cat bust.
Okay. Yep.
Where Tom found the seated half.
Yes.
Field.
Yeah.
That's where I found that.
That's a white whale for me as well. Seated half.
Mm-hmm.
Seated
I've,
half.
I've only ever seen two come out of the ground. One was Tom's, that's in the intro, and the other one was also found by a different guy named Tom. He invited us out all the way across the state of Michigan, and we were a little late. We were like a half hour late, so he just got started, and he's like, "Yeah, I got 2 silvers and a copper so far," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no big deal." And we walk in the field with him. He walks like 10 steps, and he's like, "I got a seated half," and I was like, "What? Dang it, you know."
Mine was nowhere near ground zero. Like I just got bored and started walking as far back from the site as possible, and bam! I thought I had a aluminum can top.
That's what they sound like.
And I didn't have my glasses on, so when I first dug it, I thought it was aluminum token. I was lucky I didn't ding it, you know. And so I yelled at my buddy come over, and he was just like, it was his permission. He was a little bit stunned.
Yeah, Kirk dug one in a field that we weren't finding anything, and he just hit it smack dab in the middle of the field. Beautiful high tone, nothing else in the field. Just that seated coin, just like, dig me.
That's dream stuff, right? That's how Nick is in our group. He just wanders around from field to field, and he'll just bang out a largie, just random matron, which for us is decent, but
us too. Absolutely, us too.
Mm-hmm.
Any big penny is a good day out.
You would be correct. I wish I could find more of them here in Nebraska.
I bet.
They're out here. They're real rare.
I know it. I know they're here. But I have enough sites identified now where I'm sure we could find one. Between you and I think we have enough sites to where we could find one.
They just got to push back on the A train. It's tough to find those pre-1860 spots out here.
Yeah, the tough part is you just don't have the maps that go back that far. Like I absolutely demolished a township back home last night. I stayed up late and And I had it right here on my phone. I'll show you. So that was on the 1872 map. I think I sent you a picture of it already. Well, that glare is terrible.
Oh, yep, I've seen that one.
Yeah, so that was all the work that I did last night in finding home sites, and that's on the 1872 map. And out here, the oldest I can find that's not churches and schools only is 1902.
Yeah, but
I did
that'll
get
have
one for the Omaha Council Bluffs area that's 1850s. That was a fur trader.
Yeah.
Like a Atlas or whatever. And it's so wild how even like pre-settlement, all the roads still more or less line up together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brad, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, even like 1900 whatever, we'll get it done. 1890, 1900.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about coins that were circulating. You know, people were still spending coins from 1840, 1850, 1860. So you can still possibly get a bust coin in a 1900 home.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, that's how it was with the shield nickel that I found out here. I know some of the guys that I detected with, they still haven't found one. And the first home site in a field I did here in Nebraska, I dug a shield nickel.
That's pretty
I don't think I found a shield.
You have to come with us to find them.
Leo.
Yeah.
They come up like crazy at road tear-outs.
That's what I've heard. You're not the first person to tell me that either. Yeah, I mean, you some of you guys know Danny, who moved to Florida. He found like 7, 8 of them in a single road tear out in the town he was from.
I had 3 in back-to-back weekends last year.
Yeah.
Find a lot
So
of
I got on a streak with them and then just like nothing for a long time.
That's metal detecting for you.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right, guys, I'm out. It's bedtime for me here. So.
All right, see you, Leo. Chris. Thanks for.
I'm gonna.
Is it Leo Chris instead of Gramps now, or?
No, it's still Gramps. It'll always be Gramps. There's no getting away from that one.
All right, guys.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Yeah, you too, man. We'll see you this summer, I'm sure, Brian.
Oh yeah, we're pretty close by to each other. I'm sure.
Yep.
I'm in Granville here,
for
so
sure.
yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, Brad. Good night.
See you, man. Bye.
Over
See ya.
guys.
I'm gonna do my Leo dance as well. Start backpedaling out of the room before my bladder explodes. You know what I mean? I enjoyed this. I really like this chat. This was a fun format. I like what you got going on, Chandler.
I appreciate it.
You're a good host too. So
thank you. Sorry I wasn't in at the beginning. Had to make some
sucks
dinner and
for that,
everything.
but,
I know. So I get a B- instead of a B+. We'll take it. It was never one for the straight aces anyway. So yeah, I really appreciate it, man. Anytime you and the guys want to come back on, we're always happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's just a fun, laid back shoot the garbage.
It's how it's meant to be. That's when we're all out in the fields with the guys, that's how it should be. And when we're all just hanging out, 2,000 miles away from each other, that's how it should be too.
Right on. And everybody in the chat, see you guys. Andy Coop later. Northwest Outdoors. John Stevens, see you, buddy. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Thank you, Brad, once again. I appreciate it, man.
Pleasure.
Yep.
Take
See you
care.
guys. See you, Ryan. See you, Brian.
See you.
Have a good one, Brad.